This is a Saturday Morning TVLog from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Welcome to another Saturday Morning TVLog, and this time around it's Spider-Woman, brought to us by DePatie-Freleng and Marvel Comics. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Doyle, the Big D. This, of course, is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So today's Saturday Morning TVLog is Spider-Woman. Easily probably one of the most underrated and probably forgotten superhero toons, but I might be wrong though. Spider-Woman is an animated television series based on the Marvel Comics character who was introduced in 1977. Originally produced by DePatie-Freleng, that's being their final series before its reincorporation as Marvel Productions, along with Marvel Comics Animation, premiered on ABC in September of 1979. Now, of course, Spider-Woman is, well, of course, this focuses on the actual original Spider-Woman, because there have been numerous women, ladies, and what have you to play that character in the comics. But in this one, we focus on the actual original, Jessica Drew. Now, according to the title sequence, it's kind of different. There's differences between the cartoon and the actual comic book, though. But anyway, Jessica Drew, who as a child was visiting her father's lab, was bitten by a poisonous spider. However, Dr. Drew was, forced to use an untested spider serum. He managed to save his daughter's life. And apparently, as a result, it granted her superpowers. Superhuman powers, that is. Well, it's the same thing, I do believe. And now as an adult, Jessica is editor of Justice Magazine, with 2 other employees featured in this, but they're not in the actual comics. Photographer Jeff Hunt, who is a cowardly braggart and nonetheless fancied himself as a quick-witted and resourceful crime stopper, and Jessica's teenage nephew Billy. When trouble arises, Jessica slips away to change into her secret identity as Spider-Woman. Now, this, of course, shouldn't be confused with another series, which was Filmation's Web Woman, which premiered on Tarzan the Super 7 the previous year, which that unfortunately prompted Marvel Comics to create a Spider-Woman character to secure the copyright. Anyway. Now, like I said, Billy, Jeff, and Justice Magazine the Justice Magazine never does appear in the comic book in any form, nor do the darker elements of the comic book enter into the much brighter world of this. Now, the origin of her powers is also altered somewhat at the time of the series production. The threat to her life in the comics was radiation poisoning. Now, the animated Spider-Woman's powers are noticeably modified. Her enhanced strength is in particular, seems entirely missing, as she is shown in several episodes being restrained by means such as ordinary rope, that her super strong comic book counterpart can easily break. Now, however, she does have the ability to cling to walls, similar to your friendly neighborhood you-know-who also happens to appear in the series. He actually appeared in a couple of episodes, as a matter of fact. Now, but other things in this series, Spider-Woman has powers vaguely similar to ones that Spidey possesses, that her comic book incarnation lacks, such as a clairvoyant spider sense. Yes. But however, unlike Spidey, no matter where she is, she can close her eyes and see the events shown to the viewers as an image outlined by a spider web. And she can also project spider-like web lines from the palms of her hands or an individual finger, unlike Spidey's mechanical web shooters. But anyway, she is able to control the direction in which her web lines move, however. But one thing that Spidey doesn't have that she does is that she retains the ability to fire bursts of energy from her hands called Venom Blast. But however, they're white instead of green. And they can be fired as long as Spider-Woman has enough strength, however. Also, Jessica can change to Spider-Woman by spinning around, just like how Linda Carter always does in the Wonder Woman TV series. Which, of course, that happened to have just gotten canceled that year. Also, Spider-Woman could, at the time, only glide on air currents in the comics, but the animated version appears able to fly at will, though her costume's glider wings were apparent whenever she took flight. And also, the animated Spider-Woman would occasionally display previously unknown spider powers, conveniently able to assist her in random situations, such as spider telepathy, allowing her to mentally communicate with spiders and ask them for assistance, and a projective spider bubble, allowing her to function underwater without diving gear. Now, we also have Spider-Man, who appears a couple times, and was voiced by Paul Soles, who actually voiced Spidey in the original Spider-Man toon in 1967. Yep. The show's not too bad. Now, some characters from the actual Marvel Comics do appear, including Dormammu. I think you remember that character. If you don't, you might remember the character from the Doctor Strange movie that came out years later. And the Kingpin's in this as well in one episode. There really isn't that many actual villains and what have you from Marvel Comics, though. They mostly create original ones, though. Anyway, after 16 episodes were produced and aired, the show ended in early 1980, in January of 80. But I think, however, it continued in reruns just for a few more months, and then it was no more. I do believe it reemerged in syndication later on. Soon there would be video cassettes being released from one in the early 80s, and then some in the mid 1980s. There'd be more to come, and one would get released on DVD. It was to be released on DVD and overseas, but never did get a chance. But soon it did get released overseas, however. But it has never been released on physical media in the US. However, in November 2019, it was put on Disney Plus as one of their first entries. So that's where I watched it all. I have watched the show on YouTube before as well. Like I said, it's good in ways, but not really the best Marvel comic show. I really will say it's kind of an improvement over the studio's recent attempt, which was the new Fantastic Four, which came out the previous year. I'll talk about that sometime, but not yet. Not until I do the original 67 version of that series. But anyway, Spider-Woman, I think, is just a pretty good show. With a pretty good cast that includes Joan Van Ark voicing the title character. Now, of course, she would later be best known as Valine Ewing on Knots Landing later on. As a matter of fact. And she even appeared on The Young and the Restless and in an episode of the Dallas reboot. Our voice acting cast includes Bruce Miller as Jeff and Brian Scott as Billy. Other voice actors include Paul Soles, as I mentioned, Vic Perrin, Tony Young, Dick Tuffield, who does the opening narration for the series, and even Paul Winchell. So anyway, Spider-Woman, like I said, it's kind of an underrated show, but I'd still say if you're into something like this, if you never heard of Spider-Woman, I'd say give it a try. Now, years later, there would be another Spider-Woman introduced, that being Julia Carpenter, and that version of Spider-Woman would be featured in the 90s Iron Man cartoon, which that'll be saved for later on as well. So anyways, that's Spider-Woman for you. And that's all she wrote. Alright. Now, if you have seen Spider-Woman, please tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button below. Subscribe to my channel. Be a part of the Big D Nation. And stick around, because later tonight I'll be giving you my 25th anniversary review of Independence Day. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, you may want to check out some of these other fun-filled superhero tunes that I've already talked about. In the upper left-hand corner is my Saturday Morning TVLog for the original Super Friends in 1973. Look for the second series to be talked about later in the month. Or if you want some Spidey, go to the upper right-hand corner for the Saturday Morning TVLog idea of the original Spider-Man in 1967. Look for Spidey's second series coming up in a couple of weeks, which is Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. Or if you want to take a break from superheroes, go to the bottom left-hand corner for last week's Saturday Morning TVLog, that being The Dukes. And the bottom right-hand corner is a button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., plus the Saturday Morning TVLogs, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and next week's Saturday Morning TVLog is Space Sentinels. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.